I always thought Christmas morning was supposed to feel warm, like the world stopped being noisy for one day. But that Christmas, our living room felt like a stage. And I wasn't a star. My sister, Haley, was. She stood in front of the giant window, wrapped in a red robe, smiling like she already knew something big was coming. My parents kept glancing at each other, excited. Me? I sat quietly on the couch with a mug of cocoa that had already gone cold. Ready? Dad asked, looking straight at Haley. She nodded, bouncing on her feet. Mom grabbed her phone to record. Go on, sweetie. Open the door. The cold morning air rushed inside when Haley swung the door open. Then came the scream, the loud, excited kind that makes everyone jump. A brand new blue Honda Civic sat in the driveway, shining like it had been polished just for her smile. My Sayar, she shouted, our Christmas gift to you, Dad said proudly. They hugged her like she had just won a trophy. She cried. They cried. Even the neighbors peeked out to watch the show. Then Mom turned to me. Madison, yours is under the tree. A tiny gift bag sat on the floor. I already knew. Socks. Gray socks. No camera. No hug. No excitement. Just socks. And as Haley revved her new engine outside, I felt something shift inside me. Quiet, sharp, and dangerous. Something I wouldn't forget. Not after what would happen the next morning. I tried pretending it didn't hurt. Pretended I didn't notice the way Mom filmed Haley driving the car like she was a celebrity. Pretended my chest didn't feel tight every time they shouted her name. But emotional pain is like a splinter. You can hide it, but it digs in deeper. Dad finally looked at me. Aren't you happy for your sister? I am, I said softly. He nodded, satisfied. He didn't notice that my fingers were shaking. Haley drove circles around the cul-de-sac all morning, honking like the world was hers. Her friends came over screaming, recording videos. She didn't even try to hide it. Come take pictures with me for Instagram, she yelled. I forced a smile and stood next to her. She posted it within seconds. Best Christmas ever. New car. I wasn't even tagged. The socks stayed in their bag. Later, while everyone ate Christmas lunch, Haley talked about road trips, parties, freedom. My parents listened like each word she said was magic. Nobody asked what I wanted. Nobody even remembered that last Christmas. I saved up all year to buy presents for everyone. That night, I heard Haley sneak out to show off her car at the park. My parents didn't stop her. They laughed. It's Christmas. Let her have fun. But when I looked out the window and saw the tail lights disappearing into the dark, something in my mind clicked. Clean, sharp, and electric. They didn't know it yet. But this Christmas, they picked the wrong daughter to ignore. I didn't sleep. My mind kept replaying everything. Haley's laugh, the car keys shining in her hand, my parents' proud smiles. By midnight, I made a decision. If they want to treat me like I didn't matter, then fine. But I wasn't going to stay invisible. The next morning, something happened in our town. Something big. But before that moment arrived, I needed a plan. A real one. A smart one. Something that couldn't be brushed off like cheap socks. I sat at my desk, opened my old laptop, and started typing. I had always been the quiet kid, the one who fixed our Wi-Fi, helped teachers set up projectors, and repaired neighbors' phones. What nobody realized was that I'd gotten good, really good, at tech. Not illegal stuff. Just information. Understanding systems. Digging up things people didn't think anyone wanted. And my sister, Haley, had a secret. A big one. Something she thought she had deleted months ago. I found it by accident one night while fixing her tablet. I saw it for 3 seconds before she snatched it away. She never knew I kept a copy. But now, that secret was part of my plan. Not revenge. Not yet. Just balance. By 6 a.m., the sun was rising. My parents were still asleep. Haley's new car sat in the driveway, frost on the windows, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. The moment that shocked, everyone was coming. Closer than they thought. At 6:30 a.m., I slipped outside in my hoodie and boots. The air was cold, sharp enough to sting my face. Haley's car sat glowing under the streetlight, like it belonged in a commercial. I walked straight to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't going to vandalize it. I wasn't going to touch a single part of it. That would only make me the villain. And I wasn't about to become the villain in their story. I was going to become something else. Something smarter. I pulled out the tiny GPS device I built for my science fair last year. One that impressed the judges so much they sent me to regionals. I'd upgraded it since then, made it cleaner, smaller, impossible to notice. It wasn't to track Haley. It was to track what was about to happen. Because Haley's secret? It wasn't something harmless. It was tied to people she shouldn't have been talking to. People who wanted something from her. People who didn't play safe. And she thought it was buried. But nothing stays buried when the right person starts digging. I placed the device inside the car's back wheel well, secure, hidden. Then I stepped back and took a slow breath. Inside the house, I heard Mom waking up. Haley's alarm buzzed through the wall. They had no idea I had just set everything in motion. The next morning wasn't just going to shock them. It was going to change everything. By the time Haley came running outside at 7 a.m., shouting "Good morning, baby," at her new car, I was already in the kitchen pretending to eat cereal. "Madison, why are you awake?" Mom asked. "Couldn't sleep?" I said, sipping water. If she looked closely, she'd see the adrenaline shaking in my hands. But she didn't. She never did. Outside, Haley started the engine. It purred smoothly. Then her phone buzzed. She froze. I watched her face through the window. The way she went pale told me exactly what message she got. It had begun. Haley ran back inside, slamming the door. "Mom, Dad, someone posted it." Mom spun. "Posted what?" Haley couldn't speak. She just handed Mom her phone. Mom gasped. Dad grabbed it next. I knew exactly what they were seeing. The video Haley made last summer. The one she thought she erased. The one showing her and two older boys counting stacks of money that weren't theirs. Money they bragged about taking from Mr. Darren's store as a prank. The boys got caught months ago. Haley never did. Until now. Who posted this? Mom shouted. The account name was simple. Anonymous Witness. Not me, but someone who followed Haley's secret group chat. Someone who wanted that video out. Haley shook. "I swear, I didn't think." Someone must have hacked. Dad's face hardened. "Get in the car. Now." She trembled. "Which car?" Dad stared at her new Honda. And I knew that everything was about to explode. Dad didn't yell. That was the scary part. When he became silent, it meant something worse was coming. "Get in the car," he repeated. Haley clutched her arms. "Dad, please. People are already sharing it. It's spreading so fast." Mom snapped. "Then we need to get ahead of it, before the police show up." My spoon froze halfway to my mouth. Police. They weren't jumping to defend her innocence. They were jumping to protect themselves. Our small town was unforgiving. Rumors traveled faster than light. A scandal like this? It would stain our family for years. Dad grabbed his coat. "We're going to fix this before it destroys us." Haley sobbed, shaking. "I didn't think anyone would find it." Mom glared. "Why did you do it in the first place? Do you know what that store means to this town?" I stayed quiet. It wasn't time to speak. Not yet. Haley wiped her face. "I'm sorry. I was stupid." The boys said, "And now you will take the fall." Mom shouted. Dad stepped between them. "Move. Now." They rushed outside. Mom locked eyes with me briefly. It wasn't a gentle look. It wasn't even confused. It was suspicion. "Stay home, Madison." I nodded. Then I watched them pile into the shiny new car, the same one they celebrated yesterday like it was holy. They sped away, tires screeching. They didn't know about the GPS, or what Haley's friends were planning. But I did, and the next part of my plan was about to begin. The house felt too quiet after they left. You know, the kind of quiet where every sound feels louder? The fridge hummed. The clock clicked. My heartbeat echoed in my ears. I opened my laptop again. The video had already hit 8,000 views. In a small town like ours, that was huge. Comments poured in. "Is this real? Is that Darren's money? Isn't that Haley Thompson?" And then the dangerous one. "Call the police." I wasn't the one who uploaded it, but I knew exactly who did. Tyler and Jet, the boys who were in the video with Haley. The same boys who had been caught and punished. The same boys who had warned Haley to delete her copy. The same boys who hated her for staying safe while they took the blame. But what they didn't know was that someone else had the clip too. Me. And I had sent an anonymous message to them last week. The video still exists. It will drop soon. I knew they'd panic and post it first. I forced their hand. But that was only step 1. Step 2 required timing, precision, and for my parents to be out of the house. I opened another window on my laptop. A map. Haley's car pinged on it, glowing like a tiny red moving across town. Good. They were heading toward Mr. Darren's shop. Exactly where I needed them to go. And exactly where Haley's biggest regret would unfold. At 8:12 a.m., the red dot stopped moving. They had reached the store. Perfect. I slipped on my shoes, grabbed my bag, and headed out the back door quietly. Not because I was running away, but because sometimes you have to watch a story unfold from the right angle. The cold morning air cut through my hoodie as I walked down the alley behind the bakery. From there, I crossed the street and positioned myself behind a row of thick bushes facing Darren's store. I could see everything. Haley was crying in the passenger seat. Dad was rubbing his forehead. Mom was pacing in front of the car, furious and terrified at the same time. But they weren't alone. 2 police officers stood at the entrance of the store, and Mr. Darren himself, calm, stern, disappointed. My parents walked up to them quickly, talking with wild hand gestures. They kept pointing at Haley's car, at the video, at each other. One of the officers wrote things down. Haley shook her head again and again, like she could deny reality with enough tears. Then, right on cue, Tyler and Jet showed up. My breath caught. This was the part one needed to see. The moment everything would collide. The moment truth, lies, fear, and loyalty would twist together until something snapped. I leaned forward, watching through the branches as the officers turned toward the boys. Tyler pointed straight at Haley. Jet nodded, and then Haley's world began to crumble. Haley stumbled out of the car, shaking her head. No, this isn't fair. They said they deleted it. They promise. Tyler shrugged. You shouldn't have kept your copy. Jet smirked. You thought you were safe because your daddy's important in this town. Dad stepped forward, chest puffed. Watch your mouth. The officers raised their hands. Everyone calmed down. But calm was impossible. Mom grabbed Haley's shoulders. Why didn't you tell us the truth? Haley broke down. I thought it would go away. I didn't want to ruin everything. The officer held up a tablet. The pause video glowed on the screen. Haley Thompson, he said slowly, you need to answer some questions. Her legs buckled. Dad caught her. Mr. Darren stepped closer, voice steady but sharp. Your daughter took money from me, from a store I've run for 30 years. I could have lost everything. And you want to talk about what's fair? Dad looked like he had been slapped. Mom's face went pale. Haley cried harder, gasping. I'm sorry. I swear I didn't mean to. Jet cut her off. You bragged about it. Remember? I watched her expression freeze. Because she had bragged. She bragged to her friends. She bragged online. She bragged in that video. All of it finally catching up. The officer stepped closer to her. And I knew this wasn't just her downfall. This was the moment my family would finally understand what it felt like to be ignored and underestimated. The officers didn't arrest her, not yet. Small towns move slow, even when the truth hits hard. But they did say the words that punched a hole through my parents' pride. She will be investigated. Dad's face twisted. Investigated? Isn't that too extreme? The officer stayed calm. The evidence suggests involvement in a theft case. We have procedures. Haley collapsed against the car door. Please don't take my car. That car, the officer said, is part of the inquiry until we confirm whether any stolen money was used in the purchase. Mom turned white. Dad looked at the officers like someone had punched him in the gut. We bought that car. Then you'll need receipts for everything, the officer replied. Mom's eyes flickered. Fear, guilt, confusion. They didn't have all the receipts. I knew that, And the GPS hidden in the wheel? It blinked calmly on my laptop screen, tracking everything. Tyler whispered something to Jet. They both laughed. Haley glared at them through tears. You ruined my life. You ruined ours first. Tyler shot back. The officers separated them. My parents looked shattered. And that's when I stepped out from behind the bushes. Slowly, quietly, calmly. Mom's eyes widened when she saw me. Madison, what are you doing here? I walked closer, because it was time. Time for them to understand. Time for them to see I wasn't invisible. The shock of this morning? It was only the beginning. I stepped into the open morning air, hands in pockets, pretending to sip from my water bottle. My parents stared at me like I had grown wings overnight. Why are you here? Mom stammered. I shrugged lightly. Just observing. Dad's eyes narrowed. Observing what? I let a slow smile cross my face. Observing how the mighty fall when they ignore someone they think is small. Haley turned pale, eyes wide, tears still streaming. Madison, I didn't mean... You didn't think anyone was paying attention, I said softly. But I was... always. The officers glanced at me, then at Dad. You're her sister? One asked. Yes, I said, and I have all the information you'll need. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a small flash drive. Everything Haley tried to hide, every message, every plan, every post, it's here. Haley's mouth fell open. Dad grabbed my arm. Madison, you can't. I stopped him. I can, because this isn't about punishment. It's about truth. Mom's hand shook. Truth? You're destroying her life. I shook my head. No, she destroyed her own life. I'm just giving everyone else a chance to see it. Tyler and Jet glanced at each other nervously. Even the officers stiffened. For the first time, my family realized the quiet kid they ignore had power, and they had no idea how far I was willing to take it. Haley sank against the car door, trembling. Madison, why? Why would you do this? I knelt to her level. Because you need to see consequences. You need to understand what happens when you think the world revolves around you. Her friends were silent, phone still recording. Tyler snickered quietly. Jet's smirk faltered. The officer tapped the flash drive. This will help clarify the situation. The sooner we review it, the sooner we can resolve things. Dad's face twisted. Madison, stop this. It's family business. I stood slowly. Family business? Is that what you call humiliating me every Christmas? Ignoring me, comparing me, celebrating her like she's the only important person in this house. Mom flinched. Madison. No, I interrupted. Not anymore. I turned to Haley. I didn't tell anyone this would happen today, but your choices, they made it inevitable. She gasped. I didn't mean... I shook my head. Intentions don't erase reality. And now, everyone will see the truth, including Dad and Mom. Her sobs grew louder. I didn't move closer. I just watched, because sometimes the quiet ones have the clearest sight, and the ability to strike when everyone else is distracted is more powerful than a car, more powerful than a tantrum. The morning had only just begun, and everyone in that driveway, friends, family, neighbors, was about to witness something unforgettable. By 9 a.m., the town gossip network had kicked in. Someone had shared a clip of the video showing Haley bragging about the stolen money. Within minutes, more than 50 people had arrived near Mr. Darren's store. I stayed at the edge of the crowd, watching carefully. Parents murmured, kids stared wide-eyed, and neighbors whispered. My family didn't know I had organized a backup. Anonymous emails and texts to local news outlets. Soon, cameras arrived. Haley's jaw dropped. What? How? Dad turned red with fury. Madison, this is insane. I ignored them. My mind was working faster than the chaos around me. The GPS I had planted in her car tracked her location, her stops, even how she handled the keys. I could control the narrative, timing, and reaction perfectly. The officer called for calm. Everyone stepped back. Haley shook. Please, they don't understand. I stepped forward, speaking loudly. They will understand. They'll see the choices you made. They'll see what it means to ignore reality, to be careless. Dad grabbed my shoulder. Enough! You're too young for this. I pulled my arm free. No, I'm exactly the age to make them see the consequences of their arrogance. Mom looked like she was going to faint. Haley covered her face. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't just a sister they ignored. I was the orchestrator of a moment they'd never forget. The cameras clicked and flashed as Haley's video played on multiple screens. The crowd murmured. Some gasped. Some whispered. You did this? Dad muttered, voice trembling. I nodded. I didn't create the situation. I only exposed it. You and Haley already created it yourselves. Haley's hands covered her face. I didn't think anyone would see. Exactly, I said. You didn't think anyone was paying attention. Just like you didn't think anyone noticed me. Mom whispered, Madison, this is extreme. I shook my head. It's fair. It's the first time everything's balanced. Tyler and Jet tried to leave quietly, but the officers stopped them. Not yet, one said, checking the evidence. Haley looked at me through tears. Why are you doing this? Because someone had to, I replied, and because someone finally has the clarity to act. You all need to understand what happens when you ignore people. Her car keys were still in her hand. I could see the panic creeping back into her expression. The town, the cameras, the people around us, they were all witnesses. And for the first time, my family understood one simple truth. The quiet ones are never powerless. They just wait for the right moment to act. And when they do, it's unforgettable. By 10 a.m., the police officers had begun recording statements. The media crew was live-streaming parts of the confrontation. My parents huddled together, whispering frantically. Haley's face was pale, streaked with tears. She kept checking her phone, realizing the video had gone viral again. The entire town knew. I stood silently, calculating. Every step, every reaction, every panic moment was exactly as I had predicted. Dad finally faced me. You're smiling. You're enjoying this. I shook my head. No, I'm focused. Focused on making sure everyone understands consequences. That's all. Mom looked stricken. This is going to ruin her life. I stepped closer. Her choices already set the stage. I only hit play. Haley collapsed into a chair, hands covering her face. Please, Madison, don't let anyone hate me forever. I softened just slightly. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to make everyone see why ignoring me, ignoring facts, ignoring reality never works. The officers glanced at me, impressed despite themselves. And the cameras caught it all. The crowd outside whispered, Who is she? And that's when I realized, in that moment, I wasn't just a sister who got socks. I was the one in control. The morning had shifted, and nothing would ever be the same. By 4 p.m., the officers had taken statements, reviewed the flash drive, and begun piecing together the evidence. Haley sat on the curb, numb. Her phone buzzed nonstop, notifications piling up like snow. Dad's hands were shaking. Mom's lips quivered. They had never seen me like this, calm, precise, controlled. I stepped closer. You all need to understand something, I said. This isn't about punishment. It's about truth, about fairness, about showing that the quiet ones can act when everyone else ignores them. Haley gasped. You've known all along? I've always known, I said, and I waited for the right moment. Tyler and Jet muttered nervously. Even the officers gave me subtle nods. Dad looked at me, voice shaking. You orchestrated all of this? Yes, I said, voice steady. I waited, I observed, and I acted, just like I should have been noticed all those years. Mom whispered, tears streaming. Madison, this is extraordinary. Haley buried her face in her hands. I didn't mean... I shook my head. Intentions don't erase consequences. And you created the situation. I only pressed play. The morning had revealed the secret. The afternoon revealed the orchestrator. And my family finally realized the girl who got socks was the one who controlled the outcome. By 5 p.m., the media had left, the crowd thinned. My parents sat on the curb, speechless. Haley was quiet, defeated. I walked up to them. "This isn't just about Christmas gifts," I said. "It's about respect, attention, and fairness. You treated me like I didn't matter. And now, you understand what it feels like when your choices backfire." Dad's voice was hoarse. We never realized." "I know," I said softly. "That's the point. Sometimes people need to see consequences to understand reality." Mom wiped her tears. "Madison, you're brilliant. Too brilliant for us to ignore." Haley looked at me, ashamed. I was stupid. I didn't think anyone would notice." "You were wrong," I said. "And now you know. That's all." Tyler and Jet had left quietly, still whispering. Even the officers nodded in recognition. The Honda sat in the driveway, frozen in sunlight, a symbol of choices gone wrong. And I felt something shift inside me. The quiet Madison, the one who always got overlooked, the one who received socks while everyone else got praise, was gone. In her place was someone powerful, someone who had patience, precision, and control, someone who would never again be invisible. By sunset, we returned home. The driveway felt smaller, quieter, more reflective. My parents didn't speak much. Haley sat on the steps, staring at the ground. I sat beside her. "This morning was hard," I said, "but it's over now. People will forget the video eventually. What matters is what you learn." Haley sniffled. I understand now." Dad finally spoke. "Madison, we underestimated you. Every year, we treated you like you were invisible." I smiled faintly. "And now you see that I'm not. That I never was." Mom hugged me tightly. "We're sorry. We should have noticed. We should have appreciated you." I nodded. "It's okay. I just needed a way to make you understand." Haley looked up at me, tears glistening. You were amazing." I'm sorry." The warmth of reconciliation settled slowly over the house. For once, I wasn't the ignored sister. I had been patient, clever, and precise. And my family finally saw me, not as the one who got socks, but as the one who orchestrated the morning they'd never forget. The Christmas that humiliated me had turned into the Christmas that revealed me. The next day, life returned to a quieter rhythm. Haley didn't touch the Honda for hours. Dad and Mom gave me more attention than I had ever received. I helped Haley sort her belongings. "Remember," I said gently, "it's not just about mistakes. It's about responsibility. You need to think before acting." She nodded silently. "I will." I glanced at the driveway. The blue Honda gleamed under the morning sun, a reminder of yesterday's chaos and the lesson it carried. Mom called me over. "Madison, you've grown into someone extraordinary. Not just clever, but strong." I smiled. "Thanks. But strength isn't about being loud or getting attention. It's about patience, planning, and timing. You'll see." Dad shook his head slowly. We were proud. Truly proud. For the first time in years, I felt truly seen. Not because of gifts, not because of praise, but because I had earned it in the only way that mattered, by proving my worth when it counted the most. And that was better than any car, any applause, or any recognition. Christmas evening settled over our small town like a quiet blanket. My family gathered around the tree, not perfect, not flashy, but genuine. Haley gave me a small, handmade card. "For you," she whispered. I opened it. Inside was a simple message. "Thank you. I finally see you." I smiled, touched, not because of the words, but because of the meaning. I had transformed, not from revenge, not from anger, but from patience, intelligence, and quiet persistence. The socks I received, they became a symbol, not of humiliation, but of underestimated strength. Dad and Mom finally understood me. Haley finally respected me. And I finally understood myself. That Christmas morning had started with injustice. But by nightfall, it ended with clarity, respect, and a family that had learned a lesson they would never forget. The quiet sister who got socks was now the one who commanded respect. And in the glow of Christmas lights, I knew this was only the beginning. I was Madison, smart, patient, respected, and nothing, no car, no video, no lies, would ever make me invisible again.